Hello and welcome to The Report, Cal State Fullerton's premier source for news, views, and info. I'm Abby Fernandez.
And I'm Nicholas Garcia. On today's episode, we'll be discussing the price of Wall Street speeches for former politicians.
Plus, we'll be bringing you the latest on former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn and his violation of the federal law. All this and more on today's episode of The Report.
Before we delve into our first hot topic, we'd like to invite you to be a part of the discussion this semester season. Click on the link in the caption of any of our report episodes to fill out a secure Google form with your opinion on any controversial issue that we've talked about now or in the past, as many of these issues are recurring and evolving, ranging from gun control to abortion, climate change, or the state of politics right now. All we ask is to please keep it civil.
Former President Barack Obama has reportedly agreed to talk at a healthcare conference for Cantor Fitzgerald LP, a Wall Street investment bank, in September for a fee of $400,000. According to Fox Business, he's scheduled to be the keynote speaker at the luncheon, but the firm is just waiting to work out all the details before making an announcement. Obama, who condemned Wall Street after 2008 financial crisis, may face some of the same criticism that Hillary did for giving private speeches for financial firms prior to her campaign. During his presidency, Obama referred to some bankers as, quote, fat cats, end quote, and slammed their irresponsible actions that led to the Great Recession. Now he's accepting almost $500,000 for a single Wall Street speaking engagement, which is double what Clinton was charging. However, it's actually quite normal for former politicians to charge such high fees for private speeches. Former President Bill Clinton was once paid $750,000 for a single speech, and George W. Bush reportedly charges between $100,000 and $150,000. Even Sarah Palin has managed to pull in $100,000 for a speech, according to Politico. But that all pales in comparison to what companies were shelling out to hear Trump talk, a whopping $1.5 million in some cases. So in regards to all of this, what are your thoughts, Nick?
Well, I think the outrage with Hillary Clinton was that she was running for office. She was running for president after having been paid these, large amounts of money by Wall Street. She was trying to rail against Wall Street in her campaign speeches, but then, a few years ago, she was getting paid by them. For Barack Obama, I don't see him running for office again, or I don't even see Michelle Obama running for office again. I don't know if there's a conflict of interest there. If they're willing to pay the money, why not? Take it.
You're right. It's free money. Gosh, and this is kind of a sensitive thing, but honestly, I think within the last couple of former presidents, I feel like they've become more of celebrities than politicians, really. So, they're going to say, like you said, he's not doing anything in the political world anymore. At least we don't think so, right? So why not take $400,000, for a free speech there?
Absolutely. I don't see any problem with it. I know that people will see problems with it. I'm sure a lot of people have a problem with Obama taking this money, but I don't see anything wrong with it. Like you said, they are kind of like celebrity figures, and they're really good speakers. So Barack Obama is one of the best speakers that we've had in a while. So.
No, you're right. He is really good. He's wonderful. But why do you think people are upset about it? What comes to your mind when you think, people are upset about this?
At the end of the day, even though we might view them as celebrities, I think that they're still political figures. They're still very, sometimes polarizing figures. Republicans may never like the idea of having a speech by Barack Obama.
Yeah, I don't think I'm upset about this. I don't think it's hit me. But gosh, if anything, I'd consider that people are upset or would become upset because, like you said, he is someone who we hold up high, who we think should sort of retain that title throughout his entire lifetime. I think that's the way people see it. But that's definitely not the case. I don't think so. So here at The Report, we condone you. You can go ahead and do it, Barack Obama. Don't worry about anybody.
Sounds good to me. On to some national news. According to CNN, President Trump's former national security advisor did not properly disclose payments from Russia and may have broken the law. House Oversight Chairman Jason Chaffetz and Ranking Democrat Elijah Cummings said Tuesday after reviewing Michael Flynn's application for a security clearance. Chaffetz stated, quote, "As a former military officer, you simply cannot take money from Russia, Turkey, or anybody else, and it appears as if he did take that money. It was not appropriate, and there are repercussions for violation of the law. I see no data to support the notion that General Flynn complied with the law, end quote. Chaffetz was referring to whether Flynn received permission from the Pentagon or the State Department, or that he disclosed the more than $45,000 he was paid for a speech he gave to RT-TV in Russia. Chaffetz said that the committee will send a letter now requesting information from the Inspector General at the Department of Defense and the Controller of the U.S. Army to determine how they will handle news of Flynn's security clearance. One action, he said, may be seeking repayment of money from Flynn, possibly in the tens of thousands of dollars. Cummings noted that the security clearance states that knowingly leaving off payments from foreign governments is a felony punishable with a prison sentence up to 5 years. But he and Chaffetz both said that it was not up to them to decide whether or not Flynn had committed a crime. The White House has been in hot water recently since Trump has been in the Oval Office. What do we think about this, Abby?
Well, concerning, Flynn, what he did, I do believe, is wrong in the sense of him not speaking out about it, until now. It sort of came in and it's like, why did you hide it? What's the reason behind it? I personally don't think that him going over there and doing it or doing the speech over there in Russia, I don't think that's a problem. To me, I don't see it as a problem. The fact that he hid it is a problem, right? So what I think will happen with him, I don't think that he will be sent to prison whatsoever. I don't think that's, I don't even know why they're saying it, even though, it is, they're considering it illegal. I do believe he's going to have to pay some sort of fee, either the $45,000 that he was allegedly given, or more than that, to say, well, you did wrong, so on and so forth. But I don't think anything else will come from that.
I think that the legal implications, they kind of are hinged upon the idea that he didn't say anything and he was acting in this official position. But I kind of do, and I think a lot of Americans should have a problem with him being paid, tens of thousands of dollars by a TV station in Russia. Russia has not been some country that the United States has had the best relations with. I understand that the Trump administration is trying to repair those relations, but Russia's still, we don't know their intentions still, and to be kind of, interacting with them in such a casual way, it's a little scary.
Well, his position, you're right. It does question why on earth was he there in the first place? What was, what were their conversations, having him bring over. And so it's a very shady situation, definitely. But like I said, I don't think there'll be much repercussions for him. I really don't. But in terms of the Trump administration and sort of the hot water they've been in lately, I think it's going to continue. Anyone who's around him or him himself, right? It's just going to continue for a long time. I don't think it'll ever inclusively end. That's just what they're going to have to deal with.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Both points you just made. I agree that I don't think that Michael Flynn's going to prison. I don't even know if he's going to be, charged in any way or be forced to pay back money in any way. But I agree that the Trump administration will continue to see these crazy outcomes. No,
for sure. You're totally right. And some other news here on campus. In February, we brought you a story about a part-time professor and a student from the Young Republicans Club who ended up in a heated altercation during a march on campus. One of our reporters has an update for you.
February 8th was just another peaceful day at Cal State Fullerton until a rather peaceful protest took a violent turn. Part-time anthropology professor Eric Cannon is seen here being restrained by CSUF Republicans Club President Christopher Boyle, while student life and leadership members in the orange shirts try to maintain order after Cannon shoved a couple of members of the club during a heated exchange. University Police Captain Scott Willey details the incident.
And at some point during the march, a Cal State Fullerton professor decided that he got angry and apparently lunged at about 3 of the Cal State Fullerton students that were part of the College Republican group. And while doing so, he made contact with several of them.
Cannon is suspended for the foreseeable future, and numerous attempts to speak with Cannon, as well as Anthropology Department Head Barbara Erickson, have all been unsuccessful. However, CSUF Chief of Communications Jeffrey D. Cook issued a statement via email. Quote, the investigation substantiated the charges that a physical altercation occurred, that a campus employee struck a student, and that as a consequence the speech of the student was stopped. The prospect of an incident like this on our campus is profoundly troubling. As expressed in previous statements, a central tenet of this community is the open exchange of ideas. It is a lived value every day in our classrooms and in the exercise of free speech in our public spaces. According to Captain Willie, CSUF Republicans Club President Christopher Boyle has filed a police report and says he will press charges. Boyle recalls the incident.
He basically lost his temper. He lunged at one of the students and tried to steal his protest sign away. That student pulled the sign away from Cannon, so Cannon turned to another student and shoved him and hit him across the face, basically, and that's when I grabbed Cannon and detained him.
Boyle is partnering with Aaron Van Meter Jones, president of Young Americans for Liberty at CSUF, in efforts to ban Cannon from the university. Both clubs have begun circulating a petition and are gathering signatures.
And then the whole event became personal to make sure that at the very least professors do not assault students for their First Amendment rights, for exercising their political beliefs.
Yet, faculty member Julian Jeffries stands behind Cannon and is petitioning for his reinstatement. Jeffries, along with some other faculty members, believe his suspension was unjustified.
We didn't see any evidence there that said that showed that Eric had done any harm or done any violence to the students, and so that is worrying as faculty members, and we felt we had to write a letter to kind of remedy that situation.
I'm Justin Wheat. This is my colleague Frank Rodardi. Despite numerous attempts to discover the decision regarding Professor Cannon's punishment and suspension, it remains unclear what will happen to Cannon due to the lack of information provided by CSUF faculty and administration.
We reached out to the DA to find out more about the current case, and they say they have no file on the incident. Reporting from CSUF News, I'm Frank Rodardi.
And I'm Justin Wheat.
Cal State Fullerton's ASI and Center for Sustainability presented CSUF's 9th annual Earth Week recently. It's a collaborative effort that includes student organizations, faculty, staff, and a number of university divisions and departments. Our reporter was on the scene of all the festivities. Let's take a look.
It's the third day of CSUF's Earth Week, and today, ASI used the farmers market to promote sustainability.
I think there's a lot of awareness that needs to be built among students. We've made a lot of progress. We have great things happening. And I think that moving forward, it's having students continue to organize and continue to be, to lead on the issues and for them to define what are the issues in sustainability.
ASI wants to remind students that most large businesses ship their produce from other countries, and by shopping locally, it supports small business and requires less fuel and resources that harm the environment.
So a lot of times we see that people are just being careless, like they're in a rush to class, they don't know what goes where, so that's why I'm hoping these signs can let people just take like 2 more seconds to see what goes where, put it into the right place, and then it could lead us to our zero waste goal by 2020.
Today for Earth Week, both ASI and the farmers market teamed up to show students different ways to be a little more sustainable with the foods they buy and where they buy them from. Other events on campus this week are sustainability through environment and transportation, along with a garden expo over the weekend.
Think global, act local, buy local food, promote the local farmer. That is the motto of our farmers market. So we are encouraging these people to come over to the campus.
For more information on Earth Week, visit sustainability.fullerton.edu. This is Alicia Watt reporting from Cal State Fullerton.
Are you graduating this semester and don't have a job lined up? Then don't worry, our reporter Stephanie Stevenson was at the Career and Internship Expo and might be able to help you land that dream job you want. Let's take a look.
The Internship and Career Expo was held last Thursday at the TSU Pavilions. Over 70 companies came out ready to look over resumes and hire Titans for summer internships and jobs.
With this particular fair, it's open to all majors, so where there might only be one company looking for like a kinesiology major, we do encourage students to go to each employer because you never know what positions they're hiring for.
With over 560 students RSVPing online, Titans were eager to start talking with employers.
Honestly, slow down a little bit because it does help, because when you jump up to people and start trying to ramble, present yourself and everything, it can be kind of confusing, tough to follow along. So just slow down, know what you're going to say, and remember, at the end of the day, they're just people.
If you missed today's event but are still looking for a summer job or internship, come by May 9th for the Last Chance Expo. Reporting for Titan Communications, I'm Stephanie Stevenson.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's episode. Be sure to tune in next time for more news, views, and info. I'm Nicholas Garcia.
And I'm Abby Fernandez. Stay fresh, Fullerton.